Today, I'm gonna give you my down and dirty filmmaking tips so you guys don't suck. And out of all of the tips that I'm gonna give you today, the number one tip is Welcome back, everybody. Here are my top brief tips on how to not suck at filmmaking. None of us like sucking. We'll cover them briefly because I know you're excited to get rocking on a project, and if you're not, then turn that mother loving switch on in your head because it is time to start creating. There has never been a better time in the history of the world, since the first steps on the moon, since Lincoln took a bullet in the name of freedom, since wars ravaged the world and thousands gave their lives for every man, woman, and child. Now is the time to conceive a dream, to achieve a dream, to build a future in which you can conquer any doubts that have been rooted in your heart and mind. So think to yourself, I am not broken. I am no different than the others who have achieved success before me. I am only a few steps behind, and all the walls before me will crumble. The stories I tell will shape the way the world looks at the rising sun and the billions of stars that we are made of. I am invincible. A good script is the first step of anything that we do. Anything else that you do can be somewhat forgiven, except maybe sound, if the script is good. How do we get started? Come up with a concept. Simple. It doesn't have to be complicated for these first few ones. Then draft up your characters. Put them into this conflict, put them into this plot, and figure out how you're going to resolve this. Once you have an ending, put every single obstacle you can in front of these characters. If they're going to the store because they need milk for some reason, what is going to happen on the way there? Do they get in a car accident? Do they run out of gas? Does someone pull them over and steal their car? Million possibilities. But you take that first step of putting conflict in front of each of your characters. Come up with some basic characteristics for them. They don't have to be complicated, and more will come as you start writing it. This goes along with drama or comedy. If they're on their way to the store, someone pulls a gun out and steals their vehicle. Perfect part for comedy. If it's a drama, maybe there's a reason they have to get to that store, and suddenly the tension of them finding a way to get there fast before something happens is a big factor. Once you have the basic construction of the script, take everything and tighten it down. Cut, tighten. Cut, tighten. You're entertaining people, so you want that to be as tight as possible so people aren't wandering, people aren't bored, people don't have time to look away. Take every one of those pieces in your script and combine them. Make sure that they flow together. The hardest thing is connecting everything in the script, tightening up and make sure that everything connects and everything's fleshed out. And you're not going to nail that the majority of the time, but each time you'll get closer to making a nearly perfect script. Notice how I said nearly? Because there's never a perfect script. As a filmmaker, that should be one of your goals. You're going to want to master the art of storytelling. And that's going to take a lot of hours. We have our story. How do we simplify this? How do we budgetize this? Low budget, no budget. You're going to take these simple concepts and you're going to figure out how you can make them work in your real world environments. You have a house that you're probably living in. What sets can you use in the living room? Can it be multiple sets? Can the entire movie take place in that one set? Because that's going to make your life a lot easier. Do you have a closet that could be a dark room? You flip the lights off, put a candle in there, suddenly they're in a cave? What about a kitchen? Park nearby. Is your dad a dentist? Can you use his office? You want to take everything that you have around you and really figure out how to make this work. Look at the world in a new way. When you're driving to the grocery store, look at everything that you're driving by. Take a different route. Take note of the time you are, if you see something cool, what place it is, and jot it down on your phone. And that way you aren't forgetting these things. Being a filmmaker, you have to look at the world in a totally different way. Everything around you is always something that can be utilized for your film. Another huge part is props and costumes. What do you have in your closet that you can use? What do your friends have? That's going to be one of the number one things when it comes to making this low budget as well. Use what you have, work with what you have. You hear that all the time, but that's because it works. Lots of people don't take the time to plan. You have something that you want to do, just take a little bit of time to plan it out. Plan out your shots, Plan out your location. If it's one location, you can probably do most of it yourself. If it's multiple locations, you might need a few more people. What's your schedule like? What are you gonna have for food on set? Maybe you don't have food on set. Do you have coffee for your actor? Do you have coffee for yourself? Come up with a shot script. It doesn't have to be complicated, but at least know I'm gonna get an over the shoulder, and then I'm gonna close in on his face, and then we're gonna end on a wide. Just the simple things that you jot down will make time on set and make efficiency help so much. And that will help you get this project done quicker. That'll also help with continuity. Look how much closer you are to not sucking at filmmaking. Get the most out of your camera. We all have a phone. Just don't be one of these guys. Action. It's not hard to stabilize this. Pinch your elbows in and hold it steady. Lock up this region. I swivel with my hips and keep everything nice and steady. There's really affordable options for this too. You can get an Osmo Mobile. It's a handheld gimbal. You just lock your phone into it. You can film with that. There's also rigs like this. This is the Zween crane. This is what I use. This is only $800. Super affordable way. I can mount my DSLR to this and get the steadiest, buttery, dolliest shots. If you don't want to use your phone, guarantee one of your friends has a camera. Ask your friends if you can borrow it. Better yet, if you don't have the experience, ask them to film it for you. You're gonna wanna get people involved on this and get them excited to be making a film project with you. So ask your friends, ask anybody you know. I'll go into my tips later on what I do with my camera, but for now, if you have a DSLR, try to film it on neutral. That way you can integrate color correction, and you don't really need 4K. It's good for flexibility and it's good for big screens. But if you're just doing it on YouTube and throwing this stuff out there, 1080's fine. I know you can convince your friend to film. Just ask him a little favor. I've never asked anything of you, and this once. Maybe the next time, it would really help if you could do this for me, please. They might say no, but I know you have another friend with a camera. There's also great mounts that you can put on your tripod for your phone. They're super affordable. You mount your phone in it, and it just locks onto the tripod. Good to go. Stabilization is something everyone overlooks, and no one likes shitty, choppy, wiggly footage. The goal in filmmaking is to make it so it's not distracting. Same with editing. You don't want, if your footage is super shaky and distracting, that it's taken away from your story, then you're losing out on quality. That's gonna make your stuff unprofessional. And in turn, you're gonna suck at filmmaking. Endings. You're gonna wanna have a strong ending. I have sat through hundreds of movies, and if that ending sucks, it's shit. I can forgive a lot in a movie if the ending's good and strong, because the last thing that I felt when I left that movie was something more than crap. Get help. You don't have to bear all this yourself. Ask your friends, ask your family members, ask anyone you can. I guarantee you can find at least one other person to do this with you. 2 minds on set, 2 hands on set, always better than one. There's great film sites for this where you can ask for help. Craigslist, put a post up that you're looking for help. Maybe a local film shop, you can put flyers up, make it catchy, draw attention to it. If doing each of these things you get 1 actor or 1 cast member, then it was worth it. You gotta execute. Forcing yourself to do it. Schedule it tonight, and I'm serious. By putting yourself on a date, you're forming a milestone that you have to hit. And by having that milestone now, that forces you to get shit done. It's in the can, and now you're ready to cut it. There's great free programs out there. Lots of computers come with iMovie nowadays. DaVinci Resolve is a great program, completely free for personal use. Even Premiere Pro CC is only $20 a month. Buy a bag of coffee. Stop buying those $4 macchiatos. You do that 5 times, you have $20. Everybody can find $20. Vacuum your damn room. Now, editing is one of those things that takes practice. As with all things, the more you do it, the better you get. Lay it all out, slice it together, take a break. Come back and watch it in a few hours or the next day. Shrink it up, tighten it up, watch it again. Cut it up again. Second time you watch it, you're gonna see little things that you can trim off, tighten up, cut, and shrink. You rinse and repeat. Sometimes it's gonna take 20 times. You're gonna cut all those unnecessary pauses. You're gonna cut those long takes. You're gonna trim the fat off the beast. Slay Your Babies is a terrible name. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take some of those best scenes. Do they really matter now? Do I need to keep them in there? Slay 'em. What about that long pause when she exhales? Slay 'em. What about that look she gives him? Slay 'em. All these babies can be slayed. I know you think you want them and think you need them, and sometimes you need an outside perspective to come in and check it out. But trust me, when you're done, you've done this enough times, you're gonna look back and you're gonna go, wow, this is a good piece. Every beginning editor leaves clips too long. Damn, that's a lot of stuff to learn. You get done with that and you'll have a finished, completed piece, and it's gonna feel so good. You'll probably hate it, but the point is you have a completed project, and I guarantee the next project you do is gonna be better in some way. Whether it's a scene, whether it's lighting, whether it's dialogue, whether it's the entire thing. is going to be better. Every single time that I do another project, I look back on my old project and I go, this one's better. This one's better. This one's better. They always get better. So 1 down and 100 to go. Look at the average film director's IMDb. The majority of them have only made 5 films. If you keep crushing this, if you keep it up and do 10 films, 20 films, 30 films, how long till someone notices you and goes, wow, I'm going to put money into that film. Wow, that's a brilliant idea. You got audiences raving. Rotten Tomatoes says certified fresh. So don't just watch this. I'm serious. Now don't just watch this and shelf it and say you'll do it later. Take 10 minutes right now. Write down your ideas. Once you have those ideas, sleep on it, and the next day come back and tweak those ideas. Rinse and repeat until you have a story. Once you have a story and you're doing this every day, you're going to be excited, and that 10 minutes is going to turn into a half hour, an hour, 4 hours, 24 hours. You're going to make a habit out of nothing, and before you know it, you're going to be cable deep, lights on your face, and you're going to be looking that actor in the eye, and you're going to pause and go, wow, this is pretty awesome. You're going to thank me, but more importantly, you're going to thank yourself. My number one tip, and I know you've heard this before, get out there and do it. We hit all these pretty brief, but next, we're going to dive into script writing. And get ready to write your first good script. Like it, subscribe it, and be galactic. Over and out.